What up? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on. I'm just setting up a new computer here. I'm, of course, Big Cheds from Twitter. That's probably where you know me from. Cheds Trading on YouTube. I've got a very large library of educational content. I try to put out a lot of good free stuff for you folks to keep that content flowing, to let you know what I think. You have a lot of ways to reach me. You can reply to my videos. You can comment here in the chat room. And like I said, find me on Twitter. But if you're just getting started, folks, and by the way, let me make sure, let me know if you can hear from me here in the chat room. Check out all the great educational stuff I have on my YouTube. Check out the Masterclass Technical Analysis Tutorial playlist. Did the music not work out? Oh, I had the music off. Let's try it again. Hold on a second. There we go. Let's try this again, folks. Yeah, new setup. Ready? Hello, hello. All right, everybody. It's Big Cheds. Thanks for joining me here today for another live stream. This is part of the Quick Market Update series on my YouTube channel at Cheds Trading. I try to live stream twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. When you go to my YouTube channel, you want to start out by checking out the Masterclass tutorial playlist. It's going to teach you Japanese candlestick theory. It's going to teach you classical charting. That's what I teach. I teach professional technical analysis. I've done CMT1. I'm actually getting ready to do CMT2. I'm studying the textbook right now, which is a lot of fun. Folks, I published 4 books. And because I just put out my newest book, which is The Trading Journal, you can get it on Amazon right now. Reviews are in. People are loving the book. I'm making my prior books free. I already have a free version, Trading Wisdom. I've already got a free version of My Battles with Cancer. And I have been recently publishing The Trading Quotes. The Trading Quotes, my 3rd book, and I'm going to do the entire book for free. I just got weeks 9 and 10 out. Not a lot of views, but that's okay. It's there for you if you want. Every time I publish a new book, I try to make, my older books free. So make sure you check that out. If you're looking for an exchange, check out Bing X. I do these twice a week on YouTube. And twice a week, I do a full market analysis on Bitcoin Live with the best team in the world that studies crypto. Every Wednesday and Sunday night, it's been at least 6 years since I missed one of those updates. So if you're looking for long-form, in-depth analysis, make sure you check out Bitcoin Live. I'm really glad you folks decided to join me. I'm going to get to the chat room here in just a minute, but I want to riff a little bit about the chart. And then I want to jump back. You know the deal. I want to jump back in the chat room, and I want to hear from you folks. This is a great opportunity for you to reach out to me and let me know what you're thinking. We can address any trading problems you're having, any trading questions you're having, and chances are other folks are probably having some of the same trading questions and same issues. So we can try to create some value here. So, folks, thank you for joining me while we fill up the room. And by the way, I'm going to start the whole restreaming thing soon. I'm going to try to stream to Twitter as well, and maybe Twitch while I'm doing that. So I've seen some of the other folks doing it, like Trader Main and Eric Crown. So I might be trying that soon. But so what's Bitcoin doing? So Bitcoin is right near all-time highs, right? We're back up above 107K. So let's get into this. What do we have here? We had a very shallow retracement. You see the price in the daily, and we'll jump around the time frames. See the price in the daily was riding the EMA 8, first MA 20, and then MA 50 tag. Just a very shallow retracement here on the daily, and gave it just a minor pullback on the weekly to the EMA 8 exponential moving average, which means the most recent candle has the most price weighting, right off of the EMA 8 and push back into range highs. Now, the inside bar we saw here in the weekly was suggestive of consolidation. After this is the first inside bar. Inside bar is where you have a candle, and then the next candle is completely it's found encapsulated within the range of the prior candle. And that's suggestive of consolidation. It was our first inside bar in quite a while. I was thinking we would get a little bit of a deeper a little deeper pullback, and that didn't quite happen. Really just a shallow, very shallow retracement to the EMA 8. Let's zoom in a little bit and look at the daily chart. A lot of people were calling for head and shoulders. So how do we draw head and shoulders? Well, you can try to do this fancy diagonal neck baseline. I don't like that. When I draw a head and shoulders, I like to look for a clear horizontal price zone. It's a little bit easier for me to structure my risk. So you want to make sure you draw your confirmation level, your breakdown level, and then your invalidation level. So with a head and shoulders, if you're a bear, you want to mark out where that pattern will fail. And here would be a right shoulder breach, right around 107K. Now the 107K, regardless of whether or not you called it, a head and shoulders, we were watching that 107K level. So, you didn't need to necessarily say it's a head and shoulders to come up with the idea that you're watching 107K. And we can drop down even to 4 hour. And we see here in the 4-hour structure where the price held here at 107K, failed and rejected on the underside. And after we had this underside rejection, that let you know that 107K was more important if the price could ever flip it. Price dropped back down to 100K. Range low sweep and recapture with the spring. New long entries triggered if you wanted on 100K. And then a bounce into 107, where it would have been logical to expect a pause, but it did not pause. It punched right through. So the bear thesis was challenged and invalidated, right? Challenged and invalidated on the break of 107K. So where does that leave us now? Where does it leave us now? Well, it's incredibly bullish on the high time frame, which is the weekly. Price above rising EMA 8, price near all-time high. Does that mean we're not going to get another dip? Does it mean it's not going back to 100K again? Well, it very well could. It very well could. It's been a grinding, consolidating type of trend. And despite the fact that we have not had any deeper consolidations for quite a while, it does not mean that they may not that they're not coming. So you want to be prepared. I think you could take another long trigger on a retest of 100K. You very much have support in the 96K zone, which I am eyeing myself personally. And then, of course, 88.5 should things really break down. All right. 107K is an important local pivot. So I'd be watching this local pivot for momentum. I wouldn't necessarily take a short if the price fails to hold, but you may want to take some profit on a late long if the bulls are unable to hold in this attempted reclaim of the 107K level. Now, Ethereum's at a really interesting spot. It's been underperforming to Bitcoin. We see that on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which is a downtrend. Now, here in the daily chart, you see the price pushing right into range highs, pushing right into the underside of that falling MA200, which is a downtrend. It's challenging the downtrend. It's pushing right into where the price have rejected the last several times here, really in the last month. Now, what's interesting about the weekly looked to be, and still may be, setting up for what's called a tower top. Many of you think of it as a BART, right? And by the way, folks, thank you for hanging out here with me today. It's, what is it, Tuesday, June 10th. Thank you for hanging out here. Hope your June is going well. We had the strong advance and these small bodies. And these small bodies after the strong advance show bulls having trouble sustaining the rally. And you often see move up with a sideways and a move back down. Maybe it was the midpoint of the candle, which in this case actually would line up with the high time frame pivot at 2150, 2100. So that's still there. Now you can say, okay, we're breaking out. Are we? I mean, we're right there. I really want to see it holding above 2150, 2750. It's pretty much right there, but the price is still within the range of these upper shadows. And given the price response the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks that it's attempted to break this range, I still think you still want to have some caution. You could very easily wick up and back down, forming an up thrust. Just given the lack of strength in relation to Bitcoin, I'm still cautious on Ethereum, but you can use 2750 as a pivot. So you can use 2750 as a pivot to manage your risk. Would love to buy at 2150. Should the price roll over and follow through right? Should the price roll over and follow through on this weakness, this caution rather, on the weekly chart? Again, with the strong move up and these four, these four high wave, at least three high wave candles, meaning, long upper and lower shadows. John Schneider says, Cheds, have you ever considered mentoring people? I do that at Bitcoin Live. There was a great comment from someone at Bitcoin Live, from one of the members from one of my last videos, and they said, Cheds, appreciate the humanity you put in your work, and I make analogies. I made some analogy about clothes drying and consolidation. You make me feel as if you're coaching me one-on-one. And that's what I want to do at Bitcoin Live. This is what I'm telling you. You can ask me any question. I'll answer your question. I'll address it during the video. And if you want, I don't do like one-on-one, Zoom coaching, but that's what Bitcoin Live is for. I try to put out as much free content as I can on Twitter, okay, YouTube. Bitcoin Live is where I give that extra, right? And where I really is the most important to me is Bitcoin Live. So for mentoring, if you want mentoring, just join Bitcoin Live. You're going to get way better bang for a buck. When you sign up, you get access to the entire team's work. I mean, somebody asked me about mentoring, so I'm not going to do one-on-one mentoring. That's what Bitcoin Live is for. So that's the deal with Ethereum. It's very important with that 2750 level, and there's still some reason to be cautious given those upper shadows there on the weekly. And Solana held recently on the throwback to the 145, 150 range, still channeling in between major overhead at 180, and for the price to stair step and continue on the daily and rejoin the weekly trend, you really need to see it hold right around 145 to 150. So that's my riff here on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Let's get these questions flowing. We got over 100 of you here hanging out with me. I'm honored to have you here with me while I'm just chilling. Let me know what you're thinking, what charts you'd like me to look at, any questions you'd like me to look at. I can kind of scroll through, some of these altcoins as well and kind of riff on that. But I want to hear from your questions. I really enjoy that. So, and by the way, sorry for the lack of music. I just switched computers, so I'm still setting things up. So you know how that goes. So let's see. Cliff asked me about XRP, I think double bottom, but he didn't reply with what time frame, right? I didn't know what he meant. I mean, double bottom, it doesn't make sense for a double bottom. Double bottom comes after a move down. This is an uptrend, albeit an unconfirmed uptrend. In theory, for a double bottom, you have a move down, you set one low, you set a peak, you set another low, and you set a peak, and then you break out. You have what's called price distance between peaks and troughs, which are lows, time interval, right, between the two lows. I don't see where a double bottom would be on this chart, Cliff, if you're referring to it. Do me a favor, mention time frame too, if you have a specific chart pattern in mind that you think you've seen, kind of thing. So Influence is asked about XRP. We're looking at it right now. I mean, it's holding nicely right above 205. It's grinding, and given this, the one thing I talked about, and I talked about this on my Sunday report on Bitcoin Live, is just this time now under the daily MA200. There is potential for the trend to roll over. So even though it is holding, it has been holding, the MA200 is rolling over. We have lower highs in play. So I really would be paying attention to that 205 level if it fails here at this point, because I would suggest the price is going to roll way back down. So 202 to 205 is the key level for me. It still looks good until that holds. Let's see. Flaming Cayman says, good to hear you. Thank you, buddy. What's up, Ape Sheet? What is up, Major? What is up, brother? Bitcoin's looking strong? Yeah, Bitcoin is looking pretty strong. Influence wants to know about TRX. Yeah, TRX has been one of the... Whoa! There it is. I mean, this is one of my favorite charts. I've been hyping it at Bitcoin Live, for over a year and a half now. It's been a very steady grinding uptrend, one of the better looking charts, and just made a fresh local high. That's impressive. We made fun of TRX back in the day, back when I was, when I started with crypto in 2017. I guess a little bit after that TRX came out. Maybe wrong about the timing there, but this thing is a steady grinding higher. And if you go way back, it started uptrending quite a while ago. Downtrend break, second level filter break, lower high breaks. It's just been consolidating, throwback. I mean, it's just been a beautiful, pardon me, it's just been a beautiful trend. So TRX continues to be one of the better looking altcoins. That's a good eye there. Influence snaps. Could you take a look at Syrup? It's a newer token, but it used to be called Maple. That's funny. Before migration, I entered in a recapture of 0.1. Okay, let's take a look at Syrup. Syrup. I don't know that I've heard of it. Yeah, okay, no history here. Let's see if we can get a little history. So the thing with TA is you need price history. Without price history, there's no trend. There's really nothing to analyze. Okay, a little bit there. Yeah, okay, a little bit more there. I mean, there's not much here for me to talk about. Clearly, there's bullish momentum. Clearly, you see some evidence of accumulation here in the volume on the advance, and the price is above the accumulation zone. That is good. It's grinding higher. Moving averages are all, fanned out and rising. EMA 8, MA 20, EMA 34, MA 50, even MA 34. Not MA 200. Not a ton of history, but there's some mojo here. There's not too much. I don't know that I need to really riff on this chart too much due to the lack of price history, but bulls are clearly advancing, and you could structure even a new long trade and a break of 46. So yeah, it's actually not terrible. It's just there's not a ton of history. Jose, what's up, Jose Manuel? BTC retest to 106 to 107.5K. Very much likely to get a throwback here, and I think you'd treat it as an entry, right? At least a level to trade. So again, just based simply on the right shoulder invalidation, based simply on the simple throwback to the 107K level, whether you call it a right shoulder or not, you can structure your risk, and then if it doesn't hold like 106, you could fail. You could bail on the trade. Let's see. Liam Connor. What's up, Liam? How am I looking at strong charts like Aave? Aave is a strong chart. I mean, I tweeted it out. We had a beautiful bullish throwback. I put out that tweet a little while ago here, June 2nd. I said working on a throwback. A throwback is a bullish retest from above. And when you have very clearly defined structure, here's Aave. Descending supply trend break, lower high break. This triggers the 2-level filter. You could have got long at 180. It paused here, broke out. You could have got long again at 240. So it's grinding higher and looks good. Is it going to straight up just punch through this box, punch through this consolidation range? I'd say probably not. You want to sit back and observe this consolidation. It very likely will advance into this range. Maybe we'll bull flag. Maybe we'll do a tightening range, but it is quite bullish. And your simple trade technique of taking a long on the throwback of 240 has 240 zones rewarded you. It's already back to 310. It's one of the nicer looking charts. Hope everybody is doing well, folks. If you haven't yet, watch this new playlist. This is my third book. I'm making the whole thing for free. Hopefully you check that out. Let's see. Liam says, learning chess. Me too, man. I'm actually playing probably 15 to 20 games a day of chess. I'm really grinding it out. I mean, I think my issue is sometimes I go too quickly and I'll just leave pieces hanging and stuff like that. But I'm getting better. I'm sure many of you listening to my voice would absolutely smoke me, but I love the game. It's the ultimate puzzle game. I love chess. Todd says, Cheds, any thoughts on playing the World Series of Poker this summer? No, not this summer. But, there is a time, certainly in the bucket list. I'm in my late 40s, so perhaps I have time. But I do want to go out and spend a couple weeks out there and play, not the main event, but I love to play a bunch of like $500, $1,000, $2,000 events. Just play a bunch of different events. Just to see, because it's such a randomness on just, I don't think I would play the main event. I would play like smaller events. And I mean, I'm pretty good at tournament poker, but I mean, you're playing against the best players in the world. So who knows, right? I love poker. So you folks mentioned poker and chess, two of my favorite hobbies. Thank you for that. Any thoughts on Hype? Hype looks good. Hype is bullish. Local breakout. We'll see if it can hold. Still would love to get a throwback to $27, $28 range. Yeah, I'm not sure if that will happen, but this kind of did exactly what I thought it would do. All the way back here, with the tightening range, we had the high, the low, the lower high, higher low, boom, bullish break. And now it's attempting to break 39.40. It's one of the better looking charts. Doesn't have a ton of history, but it's definitely bullish. How do I view the current Ayub? What's up, Ayub? Ayub Zamori. How do I view the current macro environment? I don't care. I honestly don't care about macro. I mean, if I can talk about equities, anything like macro, that's going to be factored into the price. SPX is grinding back towards all-time highs. SPX looks incredibly strong. Right? Support held on the window or the gap here. Pushing back towards all-time highs. Price above a rising MA200 daily. Price well above a rising MA200 on the weekly. Qs look strong. When you like, what do I think of macro? I'm not a fundamental analyst. I'm terrible at fundamentals. I kind of let the price handle it for me. Like, honestly, the market, the price is my favorite fundamental analyst, right? I just allow the price to handle that stuff for me because, that's all that matters. If something matters, the support will hold or resistance will break. How do I view the current macro environment? I don't think about it. I certainly don't talk about it. This is not the right channel for, fundamentals. This is not my style. Sure, I'll take a look at AVAX. I haven't looked at AVAX in a while. Happy to do it. Hope everybody is doing well. Yeah, AVAX setting up for a short setup here. It's a bounce into underside of lost support. So actually don't mind it for a short setup, maybe a little bit higher. It is a bad chart if you're looking to long it as a bull. I'm not sure who asked for this. Michael or Mikal. I don't know if you're like a bull here, but if you're a smart trader and you're looking for a short, this is a decent setup because it is a downtrend that's bouncing into resistance. So I like it for a potential short setup. If you are, if you're watching it. Christian, what's up, brother? Christian says, hope you're well. I'm doing well. Thank you. About to go have lunch with my wife in a little bit after this. What are your thoughts about SUI? All right, let's take a look at SUI. Let's dig in here a little bit. Where are my Bollinger Bands? I'm waiting for TradingView to load them. There we go. So SUI on the daily chart. So obviously the weekly chart is much better. It's a beautiful weekly chart, clear stair step. There's just some loss of momentum here on the daily. It does look to be consolidating. We set a lower high. That's the pivot that needs to hold, 285, 290 range. And it's kind of churning, consolidating in this range. Some evidence of distribution here. It looks to me like it's going to consolidate. So I would be cautious here in the short term. It's in a falling channel. It does, in my view, look to be pushing back towards demand or the support zone where bulls have stepped in previously. So it's bullish high time frame, but on a shorter time frame, like a daily, it looks to be consolidating. It looks to probably be pushing lower in the interim or in the short term. John Schneider, what's up, Johnny? How you doing, brother? John says, if you didn't take the long on CRV at 60 cents, what was it? Where's your question? Where would you enter now? Okay. I mean, all right. Yeah, it's a decent looking chart. Where would I enter now? I'd probably have to wait for a break of 85. I think you've got demand here. It could very easily reject the 85 cents, come back and retest 60. I would either wait for another test of the demand zone or wait for a breakout of a reasonably well-defined overhead level. Initial test. Secondary. Let me try that again. Come on, TradingView. Secondary test. And now this level is pretty well defined. So I would, the way I play, the way I teach, the way I educate and trade, you want to wait for either key level interaction, either overhead break or drop back to support. I would not mess around here in the middle of the channel. A lot of great questions. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. It's just me. I don't have, what's it called? I don't have a moderator. Would I play in disguise at the World Series of Poker? No, I would just go play as me, myself, and I. All right, let's see here. Let's do a bunch of questions. Todd asks about APT. Okay, I haven't looked at this one in a little while. APT. Is the monthly on APT an extremely large range? The monthly, okay? Let's take a look. And folks, thank you for hanging out here with me. You who hear my voice right now, you are what makes these videos worth it. There's no point otherwise. I don't know why monthly is not loading. See, it doesn't want to load APT monthly trading view. That's weird. Let's try to refresh. So you folks are what makes it interesting. Your questions, your comments, your feedback. I can just talk into a microphone. So monthly, there's not a ton of history here in the monthly. I wouldn't look this high time frame. There's really nothing to look at. We can go to the weekly chart. It's just I think a bad chart on the weekly. It's pushing back towards supply. Demand rather. And it's kind of, it doesn't have a lot of bullish momentum as it's heading back towards supply. I'd be very careful here. Yeah, it's a very large trading range. Daily chart's bad. This is a bad chart. I would just not play it. I would just avoid this chart. I wouldn't put any money into this chart, just honestly. It's just a boring sideways, slow grinding down type of channel. I pretty much would avoid APT. Don't like the chart. I wouldn't play it. Talked about hype. So here's the problem. Someone asked me about, can you chart SPX? Yeah, there's not a ton of history, but it's bullish. You got some momentum here. Can you chart with the price peak? Well, there's no history. So what? Price peak here, $1.60. I'm not sure if you're asking me for where I think the run's going to end. No one can tell you that. If you're asking me for if it breaks out, where it would go, no one can really tell you that. There's no history here. TA is very limited with this type of a setup. There's really not much here. It's still basically sideways, even though you've got strong momentum since, April. It's a bullish chart, but is it going to break out? You have to wait and see. And there's no way to predict. Sure, you could take the height of this, but what's the point of that? There's no history here. So this is a total crapshoot. This is just an absolute total crapshoot. So I can't, don't fool yourself into thinking you can predict, the top or where this is going. It's got momentum right now. Could very easily fail, drop back into the range, and you'd probably want to look to take a long if it gets back into that 60s, 70s type of range. So that's my view on 6900. Hey, Cheds, what's up, Raheem? Raheem says, hey, Cheds. If you're holding cash during this Bitcoin chop, where would you be looking to re-entry? Happy to scale in. Well, I covered Bitcoin already today, Raheem. I'm not sure if you saw, but 107K zone would be a level of interest, right? You want to manage your risk. If that fails, probably, you probably cut below 106. You look at the 100K zone, right? That'd be another level to play. And then you look at the 96K zone. Pretty straightforward. So I covered Bitcoin earlier, Raheem. If you missed it, I'll go back and watch it. Let's see here. Yeah, trading view lagging hard today, says Burnside. What's up, Burnside? How you doing, man? I already looked at Syrup. Not a ton of history at JEH. You'll have to go back and watch the replay. I've already covered Syrup. Great stream. Thank you, Savet Tazar. Can you look at Sui? I've already looked at Sui. You'll have to go back and watch the replay. And quickly analyze Tau. So I'll take a look at Tau. So Tau, I wanted to see it hold on 370. It did not hold initially, but it did recapture, which is good. We do, however, have lower high structure in play. You've got plenty of resistance overhead. I'm a little bit less bullish on it as I had been recently, but it's still got some reason for enthusiasm in that it's very much off the bottom. It's back up above the 315, 320 range, which is good. I just really want to see it hold 375. So buckle up and be prepared for a little bit of consolidation here, and then watch and see if that 375 range holds. Folks, just to remind you, this is part of the Quick Market Update series. This is where this video is going to go on my YouTube. I try to stream here twice a week. When I'm not streaming, you should watch the rest of my content, the Masterclass tutorials. I'm putting out the free version of my Trading Quotes book. Even if you own the book, and thank you if you do, I am going through and I'm reading, them out loud. It's a companion. So I'm expanding upon the book, and I'm going to do the entire book for free here. So check that out. Okay. I am on Twitter, of course, at Big Cheds. If you're looking for an exchange, check out BingX, my favorite exchange. Bitcoin Live, I do it twice a week, full market report. Somebody asked me about mentoring. That's basically Bitcoin Live. When you join Bitcoin Live and you're one of my students, I take you very seriously. You always have access to me. And you'll always hear from me every Wednesday and Sunday night, even when I'm traveling or I'm sick. I haven't missed, a report in 6 years. So I'm incredibly proud of that. The new book's out, Trading Wisdom, Part 2, the Trading Journal. Why you should use a trading journal, why you need to use a trading journal, what goes in a trading journal, all the components, how to fill them out, trading setups, when those trading setups fail. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. I would definitely encourage you folks to check it out. We talked about Bitcoin grinding higher and validating the right shoulder. We talked about the importance, 107K zone, price levels below, horizontal neck baseline 100K, 96K zone, price with the response to the inside bar consolidation on weekly to EMA 8. Talked a lot about a lot of stuff, Bitcoin, and then Ethereum trying to break out, now bouncing into the upper shadow cluster here in the weekly. Still should be cautious until we can clear 2750, just given the previous price response. So Saxon says, are we up only now or still another leg down? Well, I went over Bitcoin quite a bit in this video, so I would rewatch the video. Folks, thank you for being here. I'm going to be back on Friday, and any questions, reply to the video, or just hit me up on Twitter, or just come back to the next stream. It's going to be Friday, same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. I hope everybody's doing awesome, having a great summer so far. Really appreciate you folks, and thanks for hanging out. So let's finish this up with the Church of Eight Wheels. Take care, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Big Cheds out.